Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 73. And today I want to discuss something that might be a bit painful for Boruto fans to hear, but needs to be brought up, which is the scenario of Code hunting down and beating down Boruto and why it needs to happen soon. Now, we've already seen how in the past Code was able to engage with Boruto. They locked horns before. When Kawaki was about to be captured by Code, Boruto pulled up, and we all saw what happened when that took place. Code was toying around with Boruto, excited over the possibility of fighting an actual shinobi for once. And during his battle with Boruto, he made the mistake of not only showing Boruto how to tap into the power of the karma, but also awakening Momoshiki, which at that point, Code nearly got himself killed, flat out acknowledging that the power boost that he saw from Boruto in that form was believable enough for him to conclude that Boruto actually killed Boro, like the intel had stated. Since then, we've seen Code get his limiters removed and his power levels shoot up beyond that of Jigen's power level. We've seen Code get his ass whooped by Daemon shortly after that, and when Code was licking his wounds, he developed that Ten Tails army with the intention of having that army go into Konoha, destroy Konoha, kill Naruto, capture Boruto, so Boruto can be fed to the Ten Tails. Meanwhile, Boruto is on his way towards being securely locked down with Kawaki and Ada. However, the prospect of Code getting his hands on Boruto still remains high enough that we have to talk about it, given we know Code was on the move not that long ago in universe, and according to Amato, before he got on the train with Ada and Daemon, he said it would take them 3 to 4 days to travel to Konoha by train, leaving Code ample time to pull up looking for Boruto Uzumaki. For the sake of conflict, this is a route that the story must explore in order to raise the stakes a bit more. Given Shikamaru got the call from Amato and immediately summoned Team 7 to debrief them, means that we still have a few days left before Amato and company arrive. Having Code target Boruto is something that needs to happen for a few reasons, and it can work narratively. Right now, Konoha is on alert, but based off of Shikamaru's words, it's less that they're giving up on hunting down Code, and more so they know he's in the wind right now, seemingly biding his time and regrouping, and Shikamaru knows that until they went over Ada, there's nothing they can do to track down Code. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack for the time being, which means sending someone like Sasuke or Sai to begin tracking down Code from Boro's hideout. Right now, it makes no sense, and it's better for them to be on guard, especially now that they know for certain that Code has his limiters removed. Potentially 3 days with Boruto in Konoha or around Konoha, there's a lot that can be done here, especially if the holding area that they have for Kawaki, Ada, Daemon, and Boruto is outside the village, but still inside the lane of fire. In all actuality, you think that Shikamaru would want to keep Ada out of the village so as to prevent her from being able to place more people under her enchantment control, because the less exposure you have, the better it will be for you until you can find an appropriate method of handling Ada's powers and abilities, and they're certain she can be counted on as an ally. Having Boruto and company report to a space outside of Konoha to begin prepping the facility or getting accommodated with the facility itself and making preparations for Ada's arrival means that Boruto would be on the move, and that gives Code time to make himself known, which has a lot of potential in terms of battle perspective. Having Code use one of those Ten Tails soldiers to scout out the area, run across Team 7, and engage Team 7 is smart on his end. Should Team 7 be engaged in conflict, it gives Code the opportunity to test out the battle power of his Ten Tails soldiers, but also given the Ten Tails soldiers have claw marks, it allows him to pull the soldiers to and from those claw marks, use their eyes as his own eyes to see what they see, communicate through them, but most importantly, it allows him to divide and conquer. Right now, Ada doesn't know about his Ten Tails army or their capability. If he divides the soldiers up where 1 or 2 target Boruto on Team 7, the others can begin placing claw marks discreetly around spaces in the lane of fire around Konoha, which allows him multiple points of access to the village when it's time to strike occurs. All eyes would be on those soldiers that attack Boruto and Team 7, a new threat that Konoha has no idea exists, and he's operating during a window where Boruto and company are the most vulnerable due to Ada and Daemon not being able to arrive just yet. If push came to shove, Code could appear through one of the Ten Tails soldiers and engage Boruto and Kawaki directly, which we do need this with a power scaling perspective. Right now, we know Code's power level is higher than Jigen's, and the way that Shikamaru framed it, the Jigen they were comparing him to was the one juiced up on Jubi Chakra, who bodied Naruto and Sasuke with only 4 hits, being able to take down 6-pass Sage Mode Naruto, and Rinnegan Sasuke with only 3 hits. When you count the chakra rod, we get to see how well Boruto does using Momoshiki's chakra that's stacked on top of his own, and how Kawaki does using Ishiki's chakra stacked on top of his ninja tech and stacked on top of his own chakra too. Again, as I said before in the past, and as the manga has directly stated multiple times, this doesn't mean Boruto and Kawaki are as strong as Momoshiki or as strong as Ishiki in terms of their power levels. There's a gap between the power of an Otsutsuki vessel and the Otsutsuki itself, but what this does allow us is to see where Boruto and Kawaki currently stand in terms of power right now. Both of them were already extremely strong in their base forms without the Karma Seal. Boruto and Sarada during the Momoshiki arc in the novel were stated to be Ganin, who had Jonin level striking power, something we saw backed up once they took on an elite Jonin and Ao, who had been enhanced by Kara's ninja tech. Kawaki was fatigued, and he was stated by Konoha to be an S rank level threat, which is a power that is elite Jonin, and it borders on power levels that require one of the 5 Kage to intervene, as I discussed in my ranks in Boruto Explained video. That same Kawaki was able to destroy the robots that Konoha not only struggled with, but between he and Mujino, they were utterly helpless against them, and they couldn't make a dent in them based off the info that we were told. This same Konoha was able to send Jugo flying across the forest. This Jugo is stronger than the one that you saw in Naruto Shippuden, so this Konoha, despite all the memes, he's not exactly a pushover. Since then, through combat training, both Boruto and Kawaki training under Naruto and in their own combat battles with Boruto and Kawaki have both gotten stronger, and base to base and stage 1 karma to stage 1 karma, they appear to be relatively equal to one another. This will be our first time seeing how both is able to use their power in an extended battle scenario. Kawaki was still figuring out how to use Ishiki's power when he fought against Momoshiki, and Boruto, while he did say he feels like he's in better control now, it remains to be seen how much power he can drag out that belongs to Momoshiki and use it in conjunction with its own chakra. Seeing how well they do against this new version of Code, whether that means Code is able to dominate both in battle or has to use effort to hold him off, is going to be telling. Power above Jigen, and if he's fighting seriously but can't knock them out cold with only a few hits with the full-on boost of power, this means Boruto and Kawaki are knocking on the door or even surpassing the power that we saw from Rinnegan Sasuke and 6-pass Chakra Mode Naruto, who fought against Jigen. Unless Code just goes full-on Perfect Cell, and Justice Cell is strong enough that when he kicked Krillin, it should have just blown Krillin's head to pieces. Cell was just toying around with him. It doesn't mean that Krillin's durability is now Super Saiyan level. And I think just given Code's personality and the fact that both Jigen and Ishiki had a tendency to play around when they're fighting, you could see Code holding back if he knows he's stronger. If we look at Momoshiki controlling Boruto, fatigued EMS Sasuke was able to fight off Momoshiki well enough that it made Momoshiki resort to hiding using sneak attack methods like the vanishing Rasengan when Sasuke's Sharingan was cut off. That same Momoshiki sent Sage Mode Naruto coming and didn't want to fight him head up, but instead offered an olive branch to Code so they could team up on Naruto, meaning he viewed Sage Mode Naruto as being a bigger threat than White Karma Seal Code, who still had his limiters on. That same Momoshiki went on to fight on a defensive against Kawaki, and he ultimately would have lost. So we have some clues on how strong both Boruto and Kawaki are. If you put a pistol in my head, I guess that if Code fights them seriously, without any type of restraint, he's taking them out in only a few hits if he uses full power. If he toys around with them, wanting to make both of them suffer because he's the typical shonen antagonist, then they might very well hold their own against someone who's stronger than Jigen. But for this to work narratively, Code needs to come out of this looking strong. To make a wrestling reference, it's a lot like how Triple H just booked Bobby Lashley losing to an injured Seth Rollins by having Brock Lesnar body Bobby Lashley before the fight took place, making Lashley look strong in defeat while also putting Seth Rollins over, who was injured. You need something similar here with Boruto and Kawaki fighting against Code, and I think one way to have this be done is for someone like Sasuke to directly engage Code during that battle and divide his attention, and the seeds are already planted for this. Sasuke is on Code's kill list. he's already begun looking into him, and he's the only one of Konoha's adults who knows that Momoshiki has begun manifesting outside of Boruto. He has every incentive to wait around to watch Boruto in case something happens. Having EMS Sasuke step into that fight gives Code enough people, two of whom are legitimate Konoha shinobi in Sasuke and Boruto, where if he plays around, they're going to be able to pressure him despite the power gap that you see, which makes all parties look strong, and it prevents Code from coming out of this looking like early My Hero Academia Shigaraki, where you knew the guy was strong, but it still felt like the guy was an utter chump despite how strong he was. I think having Code stop short of capturing Boruto is the best decision for everyone here if we're booking this like a wrestling match, which is a side note. A lot of you guys are asking me why do I make so many wrestling references when I talk about Boruto. It's not because I'm a wrestling mark, even though I am. Given how much Boruto's mangaka Mikio Ikimoto borrows poses from Kinkuman, which is a wrestling manga. That's why those references are so important, and that's why you guys have heard me make numerous subtle wrestling references in the past. Kinkuman and Dragon Ball are both series that Mikio Ikimoto borrows quite a bit from. That being said, my question to you guys is, how well do you think Boruto and Kawaki should do against Code right now? While you think that over, click here to watch my Chainsaw Man chapter 106 review, or click here to watch this other Naruto Explained video.